Welcome to Back to the Bible, Week 4, Love. Day 22, Troubled by Grace. Collect yourself before God. Psalms chapter 57, verses 1 and 2. Be merciful to me, O God, be merciful to me. For in you my soul take refuge. In the shadow of your wings I will take refuge. Till the storms of destruction pass by, I cry out to God Most High, to God who fulfills His purpose for me. God's promise for today, Luke chapter 1 verses 28 and 29. And He came to her and said, Greetings, O favored one, the Lord is with you. But she was greatly troubled at the saying, and tried to discern what sort of greeting this might be. Consider today's truth. We blush. It is common for many to deflect a compliment. Some duck and dodge when skills and achievements are applauded. It might be out of sense of humility as a guardrail against falling into pride. It could be from a deeper source, since we know ourselves better than anyone else knows us. Our imperfection and failures are obvious. These become the filter through which we receive kindness, appreciation, or even love. Our blemishes convince us that the favor extended to us is misplaced, since we diminish them. Gabriel's message. Gabriel was dispatched to the teenager girl in Nazareth. Mary was betrothed to Joseph. Anticipating the type of life she saw other young women experiencing in her small town. Everything was about to change through an angelic visitation. Gabriel's first word stated that Mary had favor with God and that God was with her. This troubled Mary. She couldn't understand what type of greeting this was. Whatever fear Mary felt would be understandable, but even this was addressed by Gabriel with the same message. You have found favor with God. Even before the message of a virgin birth was spoken, Mary struggled to accept the words. She couldn't process them. What did I ever do to gain the favor of God? Why would God see and care about me? She had no status in society. She had done nothing notable before men of God. While her spiritual life was devoted, it didn't reach the level of heavenly gossip. Mary had difficulty believing that God would mark her for special favor. We do the same. Struggle with grace. Grace is the message that God has put His favor upon us regardless of our performance, quality, or worth. Grace is the smile of God. Untied to any reasons we can come up with to explain it. So, it's a hard message for us to embrace. If God were to chide us, we would understand. If God dispensed punishment for our offense, we would agree we had it coming. If God did not speak or tend to us, we would conclude that He was busy running the universe. We want His voice and need His help, but we can see abundance cause of our disqualification. Grace is a hard message to accept. We don't witness this grace in our world. We understand cause and effects, crime and punishment, reward and penalty, but to be loved without condition, welcome despite repeated failures, and embrace even when we were enemies. This can only be from God. Understandable, God is not softy. He's not a grandfather who overlooks our faults and is convinced we can do no wrong. Grace flows because of Jesus Christ. He came into this world that He might show us who God is. John chapter 1 verses 14. He came to pay the penalty of our wrongs for every sin for all eternity. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and 21. That is the message of God's grace. Receive God's promise. We believe this message by faith and live by the same faith. Grace is so radical that we must keep returning to it. We return to the unmerited love of God, not to brace it up, but that we might be braced by its truth. When you find yourself guilty of a repeated sin, God has grace for you. When you are overwhelmed by a sense of inadequacy, there is grace for you. When you feel distant and dry of soul, Christ's favor remains. Today and all the tomorrows to come, receive His grace. Reflect with God. Consider the truths of Luke chapter 1 verses 28 and 29 and respond to this teaching with prayer. God bless you.